business luminaries who respectively have long put a song in your heart and a laugh on your lips. I refer to Miss Patty Andrews of the legendary Andrews Sisters and Mr. Morey Amsterdam, the walking encyclopedia of humor. And now, here he is, the man of the half hour, Skip E Lowe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
What hour? What hour?
What hour?
Yeah.
Hi, Morey. How are you?
Fine.
And we have Patty Andrews and Morey Amsterdam here. How are you?
I'll tell you, Skippy, I heard your show was in trouble, so I came to bail you out.
Thank you, Morey. Morey Amsterdam, you started in television early. I mean, how early?
Who asked you?
How early? You were one of the
1939, experimental television.
Really, Morey?
Yeah.
Really,
right here in Los Angeles. What do you mean, really? Why should I lie to you?
How many?
Do you believe this, fugitive from Grecian formula?
1939.
That's right. KHJ.
I wasn't born yet.
I remember that very well because we got an announcement from your folks. Yeah.
You both look great, I must tell you.
Yeah, I like the way he says that, like he expected us to fall apart. We look great.
Right on.
You asked me a question, I'm going to answer it. 1939, Los Angeles, Channel 9 was the first franchise television station in America. And I was one of the pioneers on it. And in those days, here you can do this show with candlelight.
Right.
But in those days, the lights were so strong, we all had to put on completely white makeup, blacken our lips, our nostrils, everything. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to see you. Everybody walked around looking like Marcel Marceau.
Right.
I mean it. And I have some stills from those days, and the cameramen will appreciate that. They had no viewfinders. You just had to guess where the guest was. Now your turn.
Morey.
Okay.
Patty.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
My God, where have you been and what have you been doing with yourself?
I've been doing a single.
You are doing a single?
Oh, yes.
Where have you been working, dear?
I've been working doing concerts up in San Francisco. I've been in Pittsburgh and Florida. In fact, I did 4 concerts here at the Palladium.
You're kidding. When was this?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
this.
think the last one was about, maybe about 6 months ago.
I didn't know
Yeah,
this.
sure, and I had Tex Beneke's band back me on
How
one, Harry
great.
James' band back me on
So
the
the
other.
Andrews sister, Patty Andrews, is back.
Patty Andrews is back.
And Patty,
Ta-da-da-da.
yes,
Ta-da!
right, exactly. And tell me something.
What?
You've got a new album out?
Oh,
A new one.
I just
Wait a
happened
minute.
to have
Before you
here.
go ahead, while you're looking for the album,
Right.
I think it would be nice for you to explain why the two of us happen to be on the same show with you.
I would like to know why you two, because you're friends. That's
We're
what-
married.
That's true.
Nobody
You're married?
knows about it, but
Patty
we're married.
Andrews, are you?
Professionally.
Yeah, we worked together quite a bit. And
That's right.
when you said, you know, Patty's going to be on the show with me, I said, oh, boy, that gives us a chance to say hello. So hello.
Hi, how have you been, dear?
Enjoyed your work. Send
Yeah?
pictures.
Where are you working now?
We'll have milk here in a
You
minute.
guys
will we?
worked all over everywhere in the world together, haven't you?
Right.
Well, I wrote a song that they did and was
But
That's
did
right.
pretty well.
We're going
See,
to go
this
to
is what I want to show the folks that we've had. Now, here are 3 albums. One's
Right.
from Holland. One's from England.
The Jumping Jive.
Yeah,
Andrews
and one's
sisters.
from Rotterdam.
You got anything from America, for
and
goodness sake?
Yes, in fact, this week, a new album of the Andrews Sisters is coming out. It's called The Andrews Sisters and Their Rarities. These are songs that have never been released before. In fact, I don't know if you know this, Morey, but one of the records is the record that we did with Bing Crosby called Don't Fence Me In.
Don't Fence Me In, right.
And
Great number.
Bing breaks up at the end. It's one of those blooper types of things.
Oh, everybody got hysterical to finish?
Everybody got hysterical. They finished, but it's really something to hear. But let me talk about me.
Go ahead, Patty.
Can I talk about me?
Yes, this is your show.
Want the music in back of this?
Yeah.
Or anything?
Well,
Acapella.
Do you want to hum a little bit?
Hum.
That's good. But I am so thrilled because December they're releasing an album of just all my solo things that I did. Like I Can Dream, Can't I?
Right.
I Want to Be Loved. It Never Entered My Mind, and all those
Those are
nice
wonderful
things.
solo things you did.
Yeah, that I
Right.
did with Gordon Jenkins,
Right.
you know. So I'm thrilled
And
about
that's
that.
coming
Anyway,
out. So when
that's
is that
enough
coming
of
out, Patty?
That'll be out in December.
In December?
Christmas
So everyone
time.
out there, get that
Yeah.
wonderful album by Patty Andrews for put it under your Christmas tree, right?
Yeah.
How long you been dyeing your hair white?
My hair is natural. My head is dyed.
You're blonde.
Oh, is that it? The roots, I noticed the roots were a little dark.
Yeah.
Blondes have more fun, right, Patty?
Absolutely.
Tell me something. Rum and Coca Cola. That's the gentleman who wrote it, right?
He's the one who wrote Rum and Coca Cola. In fact, you can see it's right here
What year was
on
that? In,
some of the albums.
What year was that in?
I don't know, about in
43, wasn't it? 45.
45, I think it was.
Yeah.
Andrews Sisters. When did the Andrews Sisters all started? When did that all begin? What year?
What? This is only a half-hour show.
You didn't ask how Rum and Coca Cola started either. You start first, and I'll pick it up.
Go ahead.
Okay.
If
now
he's
what is it
lucky,
you
he'll
wanna
join
know?
in.
Right.
How long have we been singing together?
No, Rum and Coca Cola too.
Oh,
yeah.
Rum and Coca Cola. In fact, it's a very interesting story. I'll tell my little story,
Go
then
ahead.
Morey will tell how it got started. But we were doing a record session at Decca, which is now MCA Records.
Right.
And we had finished the sides that we were going to do.
Right.
And we had about 15 more minutes to go. And so we just threw in Rum and Coca Cola, no arrangement.
You just threw it in.
Faked it, the whole thing, and it became one of the biggest selling records that we ever
Did you know Morey at the time?
Oh,
Oh,
I've
sure.
known Morey forever.
Really?
Yeah.
And it just became a hit all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
big smash. In fact, that record sold 1 million in 6 weeks. And in those days, don't forget, this was during the war years.
Right.
So shellac was very hard to get by. And so all the other companies gave up their quota of shellac
Right.
and gave it to Decca so that they could get out the demand for Rum and Coca Cola. That nice?
Well, I'll tell you.
Tell them how
You
much
go ahead.
money you made off of that
Yeah,
record,
right.
Morey.
Well, I also had a very big lawsuit that cost me a lot of money, but I won
they
it.
said someone said that you didn't write it or something like that.
I must tell you something. We're living in a wonderful country, but you can sue anybody for anything. Do you know that?
Isn't that amazing?
And if you write a hit song, a hit book, or a hit play, you're bound to get what they call nuisance suits.
Right.
And I had 11 of them, and I won them all, but it drains the bank account a little bit. But not too much. Not too much. No, we did all
But
right
it's
with
still,
it.
the lawsuit is over with now, right?
Years ago,
And
yeah.
look, this album, another album, it's out every year.
It'll be my financial pleasure.
These albums
Sure,
are coming
we're
out all the
taking care
time,
of
aren't they?
We're taking care of Morey.
Patty, these
and
albums constantly coming out, constantly. They're
Yeah.
selling.
Always.
And tell them,
I can't get
beside
over
that,
5,
many of their records are being used right today for backgrounds in movies.
That's true.
I don't know if-
Practically
Yes.
every movie that's
Yes.
out lately has been. In fact, this new picture we were talking about is something, the Soldier Story.
The Soldier
Well,
Story.
I heard that they do Apple Blossom Time
do,
in his
yes,
background,
yes.
you know.
That's
When you
Andrew
think of the
Sisters.
40s, you
Raggedy
think of
Man.
the
Andrew Sisters. That's
Raggedy
right.
Man.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just hit it.
Sure.
Did you see the picture of Raggedy Man?
Yes.
Their record of Rum and Coca Cola was
Coca-Cola.
played constantly in the back of
throughout,
it.
yeah. Getting back, Andrew Sisters opened doors for a lot. What do you think, Morey? They really opened doors for a lot of sister acts to go out there and sing.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
I don't know if they opened the doors or not, but they snuck in someplace.
They're the first. You're really the first, aren't you?
Well, yes.
this country?
When we were kids, you know, we used to copy the Boswell sisters.
Boswells.
Yes.
Is that
and
where you,
They were wonderful.
Yeah, they were. Is that,
You know,
that-
everybody has a hero,
Right.
you know, that they
And that's what
copy
you
and
were.
start out, you know. And that's what we did. But the one thing that we did that was so different from any other singing group is that we danced, moved
Yes,
around
right.
a lot, you
Right.
know.
That's
less
right.
Of a,
You
less of a
the
target,
first-
right?
Well, but
Patty,
yeah,
you were
besides
the-
that, but I mean,
the
you
lead
guys
singer.
really choreographed your song. I remember
Yeah.
you mentioned "Don't Fence Me In," and I
Right.
caught you at the Paramount in New York, had the cowboy outfit,
Yeah.
had everything to go. They were like little productions, besides being so good musically.
Musically,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Patty, you were the lead singer of
Yep.
this group. Many
Always
years.
the
And
lead.
how long is the McGuire? I mean, the
McGuires.
McGuire sisters. I knew you were going to say it,
I knew
right?
you were gonna
How long the Andrews sisters? How long? have they
How
been
long?
together? Really?
Oh my gosh! Just since I was 7 years old, we went into show business professionally, and stayed in it ever since.
Did you ever do a Broadway show?
Are you counting?
Yes, I am.
I know
Counting.
you're
That's a lot. Did you ever do a Broadway show?
Sure.
Yes, we
They
did a
did.
Broadway show
I didn't know that. Which one
called
was
Over Here
That's right, you did.
Yeah.
That's right.
at the Schubert Theater in New York, and it
York.
was about a year and a half on Broadway, and it was a very successful
It
show.
was.
I just
Who's in
noticed
that?
you have a very easy job here. You just agree with everybody.
I don't agree. I remember those
Yeah,
days,
if somebody
but I'm-
jogs your memory, otherwise you are a total blank. I can see.
Exactly, Morey.
Listen, you know who was in that show of Over Here? John Travolta, Treat Williams,
Really?
Anne Reinking, Mary Lou Henner,
Uh-huh.
all those wonderful kids that are making it so big today, and I feel good about that.
What do you think about the young entertainers today, you two? I'd like to know. More
Well, they're too
personally.
young.
What do you think of the young
Well,
entertainers?
there's nothing like experience. You know the old saying. I don't. I thought maybe you knew it.
You're right, Morey.
Sure.
Like experience.
Morey.
They don't have a place to work, though.
Well, no, they don't have a place to be
Comedians,
bad.
Bad.
They don't have a place to be bad. We were lucky when we were kids.
Yeah.
You started in small-time vaudeville and you worked your way up and so. Yeah. But today it's nothing. You got to be a hit right away or forget it, Charlie.
Exactly.
You know, that's it.
Exactly.
I think they're very brave to get involved in the business today. I really do. If they get lucky, fine.
Patty, what do you think?
Well, what about places like the Comedy Store?
Well,
what about it?
What about it? Exactly.
I agree
with
at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
My argument, and I lecture at a lot of those places. I also lecture on comedy writing at UCLA. But my argument, but no, of course I do.
I didn't know that.
Why would I say it if I didn't?
Okay, you're right.
You know, you'd make a terrible defense attorney. Well, no, let me explain. You see, so many of these young so-called or embryonic comics get up to work, and it's unfair to them and gives them a false sense of security because about 80% of the guys in the audience are going to get up and do the same thing, and they want the same moral background, the lift that they're giving the guy who's up there. Then they get in front of a paying audience, and their act dies, and they don't understand why.
That's what it is.
So I think it's unfair to them.
What about Star Search?
What about it?
You know, this new show with that.
Yes.
Well, like everybody else, they're going to find a few talented. There must be talented people
but
today.
There's no place to work them, Patty. That's exactly. There isn't.
But
we don't have the nightclubs and the
they don't
places
have
that
them like
we
we
had.
used to have years ago. They don't.
But
they
even,
just don't have
you
it.
know, like when we were kids and we sang with bands, you know, and but we couldn't get into any good places. You know, we were just very lucky that the second record that we made was by Mirbis Duchesne, and it proved to be a hit.
The second record.
Yeah, the second record, and then thank goodness people like Morey, you know, who writes a song like Rum and Coca Cola, sure helps.
How many numbers Mr. Shane sold? That really was your big thing, really.
Well, it was the record that
really started
yes.
the Andrews Sisters.
But it was very, I don't know whether you knew this, Morey, but you know that Decca had 8 other artists. After our record became a big hit, they had 8 other artists on the label recorded by Mirbis Duchesne. I
never knew that.
I never did know.
Yeah.
Because usually if you write a hit song, other record companies will cover
it,
what they call a cover record. But as a matter of fact, I told Patty something she didn't know. Vaughn Monroe, who was very well liked by all the disc jockeys, he made a record of Rum and Coca Cola, and it was terrible. And he had a trio of girls on the record with it, but the disc jockeys wouldn't play it. They loved the Andrews Sisters record. But they did, in deference to him, turn the record over and inadvertently made another hit called There I've Said It Again.
That's it was big for Von Monroe.
How many pictures did you make with Bud Abbott and Lou Costello?
Oh,
I mean, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, really.
Yeah,
well,
we made with Abbott and Costello, we made 3 pictures, but all in total, I think we made about 22 movies.
22?
Yeah, we did a Road to Rio with Bing and
Bing
Bob.
Crosby,
and the Hollywood Canteen at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, you were very close with Bing, weren't you?
Yes.
What kind of man was Bing Crosby?
Bing was wonderful. I mean, you know, we recorded with him. We had a good marriage there. And I believe that we must have made at least 40, 45 sides just with Bing Crosby.
45 sides.
And we have a lot of gold records with Bing, you know, besides our own.
Right.
But Bing was wonderful in the studio. I mean, we didn't socialize with him, you know, outside of working together. In fact, you very seldom find that, you know, unless you have real good...
I interviewed his son, Gary, a few months ago.
Yes?
And he was kind of strange about his father, Bing.
Well, he
said that his father was a little different at home than he was with the people thought of Bing
Well,
Crosby.
I was never there. He never invited me over for supper.
Yeah, when the Crosbys closed his door, he was a little different than people thought he was.
But Bing was wonderful. You know, I remember when we did Pistol Pack and Mama with him.
Which is great.
And that one line that he says, what is it? Hold it before the, you know,
Pistol Pack and...
Well, you've never been...
Lay that thing down before... Yeah, lay that thing down before it goes off and hurts somebody.
Right.
Well, we didn't know that Bing was going to do that while we were making the tape. And it just, you know, knocked the 3 of us out on the floor yet. But he used to do that. He'd stick in a little stick here and there, you know.
Well, now, I, on the other hand, knew Bing before he was really the Bing Crosby. He was with a fellow named Rinker. It was Rinker and Crosby, and they were a duo, and Bing used to stand at the piano with a little cymbal and play. I remember that big song was In a Little Spanish Town, you remember?
Yeah.
And then when they went to work with Jimmy Greer at the Coconut Grove, they added another voice, which was Harry Barris, who was played piano, sang, and wrote some great songs for them. And I knew him very, very well, and as a personal friend from those days. And I had been to his home out in Toluca Lake, and I've even got movies of Gary when he was a little baby. But I liked Bing. He was a real down-to-earth kind of a guy.
Yes.
You know, a lot of I imagine, at home with the kids, he probably didn't spend nearly as much time as they would have liked to have him there. So that might have brought on some kind of an animosity. But when you're in the public eye like that, it's pretty darn tough.
It's difficult.
To be home and be out all the time.
Morey, are you married?
Yeah, I've been married 42 years.
42 years.
So that's what I just said, 42. You just made it 84.
No, Morey, I just like to repeat you, Morey.
I know. I thought.
Are you married, Patty?
I thought there was an echo here.
That's all right.
Yes, we are married. We've been married 42 years.
I hear you.
My wife
many
is
kids?
more like a friend than a wife. She's actually, we have 2 children, a boy and a girl, one of each, I figure.
Yes.
We have no other, we don't even have a dog beside that, but I mean, we do have 2 great kids.
That's great. And you are married?
I'm married for 30, going on 33 years.
And they say in show business it doesn't last.
Doesn't work, yeah. And how many
I don't have any children.
Do you have no children?
A dog.
A dog.
Yeah.
But
a wonderful husband.
Yep, he is. Incidentally, he's a musical
He's my
director
pianist.
and pianist.
Oh, really?
Conductor. He writes all my material.
He was with you all the time? All that
He
time?
was with the Andrews Sisters for, my
that's
gosh,
wonderful.
since 1946.
Uh-huh.
And we got married in 1951.
That's cheaper that way.
And I knew what I was doing.
You certainly
because
did.
He plays
Yeah.
great, and he's
Yeah.
very, very talented.
And a nice guy.
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke. I like to know. You've been with Dick Van Dyke show for
5 years.
5
We
years?
did the show for 5 years.
5 years, and you were absolutely wonderful in it. I must say that.
Terrific.
I really,
I wish you would.
I'm going to repeat that
Yeah.
because you are.
People say, "Oh, you did a wonderful acting job." I didn't. I played myself on the show, and if you like me, you like the
yes,
character.
Yes, that's true.
Well, we like
Yes,
you.
we like you, Morey.
Well,
you're
you're
a
very
lovable
kind.
man.
You
You
do.
are. You're
Well, I think I'll run for something. You can vote for me.
Dick Van Dyke. Tell me.
Incidentally, that's something that I think you should do on this show sometime, and
Yes.
I'm being serious.
Please.
Here we are in a business where we are constantly meeting the general public.
Right.
We're getting opinions from so many people. Nobody asks show business personalities their feelings about what's going on in government. And when we get together by ourselves, we discuss
I
this.
would like that today.
But most people
would love
do not
that
ask.
today.
I've seen so many interviews of so-called
Morey.
celebrities, and they don't ask them anything.
You got it right now. What do you think about Reagan? I
Reagan,
want to know. Yes.
I'm all for him. I campaigned for him.
You do.
I went out on the road. I voted for him.
Uh-huh.
And you know, the great American prayer is, Lord, grant me patience. And right now. They can't wait. They can't wait for him. This man has done so much since he's been in office. It's a terrible position to be in. I wouldn't be president for nothing because impossible to be right. Somebody always finds a flaw in everything that you're doing. But I think he has proven with what he has done and his background, and he's got such great charisma that you have to vote for this guy.
You don't think he's an actor? You don't think he's a great actor?
Nobody's asking him to be an actor. They're asking him
My
to be a
glasses off
president.
of this
Yes,
conversation.
I want you.
They're acting
I
him.
want you.
They're asking him to be a president, which he has been.
Uh-huh.
Everything has improved. When he said something about the deficit,
Yes.
you know, I don't think anybody will ever clear up the deficit. I personally recommended to him that he divorce Nancy and let her marry Johnny Carson for a year and divorce him, and they'll have all the money they need. See, but to be serious,
How
I
did
think
we
he's
get
doing
into
a
No,
fine
this?
job.
no,
No, I'm just saying as a point.
You're right.
That
You're
you watch
absolutely right.
information.
You're right.
Nobody
I
ever
like
asks
it. You're
actors, and they
absolutely
deal
right. I
more
agree.
with the everyday guy on the street than
agree.
anybody.
I
Yeah, that's
agree.
true.
I agree. And how about you,
That's
Dolly?
true. I don't commit myself
You don't?
politically. Never.
Well, I think you should be committed.
I was. That's
never
one
do.
for you.
But the only thing I don't, but see, the only thing I don't believe is politics and religion should be together. I really
We're not
don't.
talking about religion. We're talking
Well,
about politics.
Reagan did.
Huh?
Isn't Reagan doing it? Isn't
I don't
it
know.
Reagan? He's putting religion together. He wants people to do their silent prayer.
Well,
and,
that has nothing to do with religion.
Yes.
It has to do with freedom of speech and freedom of thinking.
Yes.
If you want to pray for somebody, that's your business, nobody else's. And why they should stop anybody from praying, I think it's stupid.
They're not stopping anyone from praying.
How about the kids in school? They say you don't have to pray.
I
A
don't-
minute of
I don't
silence.
watch it. I'm a spy called Ferrero.
I know. I know. But I mean it in all seriousness. You can't. A kid. What harm could it possibly do to let kids pray in school? They're not asking them to assume another religion. They just saying pray in your own way for whatever you want. I
Well,
think that's important.
Anyway, getting back, nightclubs.
And talk about praying.
Nightclubs, that's got nothing to do with nightclubs.
I'm going to bring it to you. Nightclubs. You started in nightclubs, didn't you, Morey?
No.
No.
Started in vaudeville when I was a kid.
And vaudeville. That's, well, nightclubs, and then you took over. Didn't you work a lot of clubs?
I worked in a lot of nightclubs,
That's what I'm
but
going back to.
vaudeville was my mainstay when I was a kid.
Vaudeville.
Yeah.
And you were a comedian in vaudeville.
I certainly hope so. The people were laughing, I did it the wrong thing.
What kind of a comic were you, Morey? Were you a stand-up
When they
comedian?
laughed, I was a very funny comic. Otherwise, it was pure drama. See? No, I did a comedy act with the cello with my brother to start with.
Right.
And then I continued with the cello, and then it got a little cumbersome to carry around, so I just started talking without it. Evidently successfully, because, you know, I don't owe anybody anything. I'm monetarily speaking of.
Cello?
Yes.
That's your love.
All musicians in our family. I also play 3 wind instruments, 2 vacuum cleaners, and a bicycle.
I believe that.
Will you do me a favor and throw those cards away? We don't need those. Let's just talk.
Patty.
I think I'm getting set for a game of gin rummy with this guy.
Right? Oh, I must show Patty in the middle. I think, oh, how beautiful.
Yes.
You were wonderful. When I was growing up and going to school, and I must tell you, when I was going to, was in school, you were one of my favorites. You came into my hometown, Rockford, Illinois.
Oh, I played there at the Coronado Theater.
Coronado Theater.
I got news for you. I lost my appendix in Rockford, Illinois.
They were looking for it when I was there.
I grew up there in Rockford, Illinois, going to school.
That's why the streets were all torn up. The mayor said he wouldn't leave a stone unturned to find it.
There you go.
That's where you remember the Coronado Theater?
Sure, I played there with Jackie Coogan and his father.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Jackie, what kind of man was he?
Jackie?
Yeah.
He was a wonderful guy. Funny guy. Told the greatest English stories you ever heard. A very close friend and a fun guy. And I was sorry, like so many millions of people were to see him
All
go.
this past that you took. What kind of a guy was Abraham Lincoln?
Wonderful fellow. Wonderful fellow. But he had one bad habit.
Abraham Lincoln.
He had one bad habit. When he saw a log, he would grab a saw and right away build a little place. Terrific.
Patty, tell me something.
He was on the House of David baseball team, too, before beer got real popular.
True. Yes, I remember. No, I don't remember.
You entertained a lot of military people.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
we
that's
went
the
over.
Andrews sisters really did. I know you did too, Morey.
Yes, we went over.
You went overseas a lot, didn't
for
you?
USO.
For USO.
To Italy, every ground of Italy, I think, that we covered.
Right.
And Sicily and Casablanca.
Yes, right. I did all that too years ago.
And then we also, every time we worked a theater, we'd go to the hospitals and work all the army camps and everything.
Andrews sisters.
But
I can't sit. I'm sitting next to one of the greatest people in the world, and both of you are really great. But
you haven't been out a lot, I can tell.
No, I haven't. I really haven't. But I must say that Patty Andrews has always been one of my favorites as a great singing team. They've always been.
Thank you.
And I didn't about the McGuire sisters. I didn't mean that, Joey.
That's quite all right.
I grew up with you, dear. I really did. I grew up with you, and also Morey Amsterdam. I must say. Morey, what do you think about young actors today? Not comedians, but actors today.
Well, I think when they do a good job, they're very good, and when they do a bad job, forget it.
We don't have scripts today for a film. What do you think about that for movies? Do they have good
don't
writing? Well, the movies are space things today, and they don't have good scripts today. Like, for a good Betty Davis.
Sound effects are the big thing.
It's the thing.
Yeah,
What's happened with the writing today? What's wrong with the writing today, Morey?
There isn't enough good writing. There never has been.
That's it.
We got very lucky when we did the Dick Van Dyke Show, for instance. They'll make a show for a pilot. This is the start of the new season, the hullabaloo, and they'll spend months getting the right thing for the pilot. And they forget there are weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks that come after it. Do you know that before we did the first Dick Van Dyke Show, Carl Reiner had 17 shows written. He knew where his characters were going, what was going to happen with them, and that's solidity of what you were doing gave you great confidence and was wonderful for all of us. And people say, what do you think was the real reason for this tremendous success of that show? And I think it was just a happy wedding between the right people in front of the camera and in back of the camera.
That's it came off that way,
that's
too.
That's it.
We all enjoyed it.
It was a good marriage. It really was
very
a good
much
marriage.
so.
It was wonderful. Everyone in that show was wonderful. What's happening with your career right now, Morey?
I ain't going to tell you.
Please do. We
No,
have
because you'll tell somebody else, and they'll tell by the time it gets back to me, I'll probably be doing something entirely different.
Morey Amsterdam, you are one of the busiest men in Hollywood, and I'm going to tell everybody that. But what are you doing?
There may be an income tax man. Keep your mouth I'm recuperating from yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
You don't know what happened yesterday?
Yeah, what happened?
I ain't going to tell you that. No, I've been doing a lot of charitable work. We're now working on a thing. We're collecting money. We're raising money to buy foam rubber heels for flamenco dancers to save their kidneys.
I know what it is.
Yeah, my book is doing
right,
very
your
well.
book.
Yeah, Morey Amsterdam's cookbook for drinkers.
For drinkers.
Or Betty Cooker's crockbook.
I think that is great.
350 recipes made with booze. And if you don't drink, don't worry about it, because the alcohol burns off anyway, you know, and they just use it for flavoring. Besides that, there's 150 great jokes in the book, and the money goes for a wonderful cause. I don't know yet what it's going to be, but it'll be wonderful.
I think this is great. It has drinks. It has all... Oh, this is marvelous.
You notice
and
I have it in big print, too, for guys like you who can't read.
Big print.
See that?
Right.
All right.
For me and
I love the beginning. The
what is
beginning here, which is so cute,
What is that?
where he talks about, wait a minute, I'll find it in a minute here.
Right.
My uncle was a boozer for 30 years, and none of us knew it till one day he came home sober. He and my aunt were engaged for 20 years. She wouldn't marry him when he was drunk, and he wouldn't marry her when he was sober.
And you know what finally made him stop drinking altogether?
Uh-huh.
Ask me.
What? What made him stop drinking?
Altogether.
Altogether, yes.
Funny you should ask. Well, what actually happened, he got scared. He was shaving one day, and he accidentally cut himself, and he lost so much blood, his eyes cleared up.
I love it. I love it.
That's very cute.
That's
You know Jim Bacon?
Jim, yes, I had him on my
Tonight
show.
we're going to a big testimonial dinner.
You say hello to him for me. I had him
No,
on
I
my
won't.
show.
I'll say goodbye.
I had
I'm
him...
one of those fellas.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Time went
I
by.
will, yeah.
It really... Would you
You
say
mean the show is over?
the show is over with?
How can you tell?
Because I know. The cue's already got... And thanks. Say hello to Jim.
I really enjoyed being here, waiting for the bus.
Patty, thank you
Skip,
very much.
it was a pleasure.
My
I really
pleasure.
enjoyed
My
it.
pleasure meeting one of the greatest Andrews sisters.
Oh,
Thank you very,
thank
very
you
much.
very
okay?
much.
Thank you.
Be well. If you need anything, please don't call him.
I want to thank my guests very, very much. Morey Amsterdam, the
Ta-da.
very lovable man, and the wonderful, legendary Patty Andrews from the Andrews sisters. Ladies and gentlemen, you've really been looking at Hollywood today. Thank you.
Good
Thank
day.
you.